no, you're not gonna hurt me.
Go ahead and start at 1060.
What? No!
I don't mess around, Linda.
Imagine that you're in a hospital, you're begging for help, but instead of help, you get cruelty, your life destroyed by the very people who are supposed to help you. No matter how bad things get, we trust that certain people in our community are there to help us, to save us, to protect us. Police officers, doctors, nurses. Sadly, I've realized that sometimes our trust has been misplaced, and those officers, those nurses, those doctors, sometimes they're just cruel and mean. And even worse, what you're about to see is this happening to someone who is at rock bottom, among the most vulnerable among us, someone who truly needed their help and begged for their help. Instead, she was mocked, taunted, laughed at, injured, and essentially tortured. This is a sad story that has never really been seen before until now, but it needs to be seen. It needs to be shared. I have all the footage. I've interviewed the woman's lawyer, as well as a police expert who was involved in the case. And I know it's tough to watch, but the story must be told so that it does not happen again to someone else.
And you're gonna get hurt, because I'm gonna put you on the ground.
Linda.
Go where?
Bye-bye.
I'm okay, please.
There ain't having
You
one,
don't have
go.
a cane, Linda.
Go
I
get,
brought a cane.
go find a tree branch or something.
I
Yeah,
brought the
go
cane
put you a tree
here.
branch.
There's some good trees over there downtown.
I brought a cane here.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Go.
You're a liar. You're a liar.
320, 4C.
No, you're not gonna hurt me.
I don't mess around, you understand? Shouldn't have resisted.
I didn't resist.
Linda Trapp once had a successful and happy life. Originally from Kentucky, she lived most of her adult life in Florida, where she had a career. She was an educated woman, but something happened, something went wrong. By March of 2022, at the age of 61, she was homeless on the streets of Lexington, Kentucky. As bad as she had it, things were going to get much, much worse. That began the night she first met Officer Miles Foster with the Lexington Police Department. He was a young police officer with a history of losing his temper and escalating situations to violence unnecessarily. The night of March 10th of 2022, it was dark and cold in Lexington, Kentucky. It was only 38 degrees outside. Linda had been lucky enough to get a bed at a local Catholic charity shelter, but that night she fell and they thought she might be injured, so they transported her to a local hospital about 7 miles away called St. Joseph's, where they treated her in the emergency department. Then when it came time for her to be released from the ER at St. Joseph's, Linda didn't want to leave. And this was because she knew that she could not get back to her bed at the Catholic charity unless she was provided with a negative COVID test. Remember, this was 2022.
Their policy was that if you have been at a hospital, you have to prove you don't have COVID in order to get back in the shelter. So she kept asking for a test before she got discharged, and they said, we don't have a test to give you. And she was like, I need a test or I'm going to have to sleep outside tonight, and I don't want to sleep outside. That's when they called the police on her.
Officer Miles Foster was dispatched to the scene. Within 21 seconds of Officer Foster meeting Linda Trapp for the first time, he would threaten physical injury to her, this 61-year-old woman who was there lying in a hospital bed.
Hello. What's going on? It's time for you to leave.
I guess get a negative COVID test.
Huh?
I have to have proof of a negative COVID test.
Okay, well, it's time for you to leave.
And go where?
Huh?
Jail, I guess.
I'm not taking you to jail. You need to leave. I'll drag you out and throw you out on the sidewalk. You just want somewhere to sleep tonight. That ain't gonna happen.
Bullshit.
No, it ain't bullshit.
That's exactly it.
Obviously, the interaction, literally seconds into the encounter, started with a command, it's time for you to leave. There was no open-ended questions. There was no dialogue as to how she got to the ER or some indications as to what happened. That encounter rapidly deteriorated within about 21 seconds when he told her, I'll drag you out and throw you out on the sidewalk.
Come on, I'll drag you out.
No, you're not
If
gonna
you want to
knock
call
me
my
out.
bluff, go ahead.
I don't think I would mess with him. It's just, you're just making it hard on yourself.
Hurt me.
Huh?
Hurt me.
Hurt you?
I guess.
Or
You're
hurt me?
going to.
I'm not gonna hurt you.
Drag me out by your gloves.
Yeah, 'cause you got stuff
these
coming out of your mouth.
people.
Note that Officer Foster utilizes none of the crisis intervention training that he is supposed to be taught.
Crisis intervention training is actually mandated by state law in Kentucky. In an encounter like that, I'm looking for somebody that's going to come in, that's going to ask open-ended questions, ask empathetic questions, and then investigate what she needs. You should be able to develop a rapport and get information pretty quickly. The things that are taught in CIT training, a lot of those factors were either knowingly disregarded or literally just thrown out the window.
At this point, there was no threat by Miss Trapp. There was no indication of any threat. There was no indication of noncompliance by Mrs. Trapp. Instead of calming the situation, he escalated the situation. Officer Foster then decided to deceive Miss Trapp, to lie to her, promising her that he would get her a COVID test result if she came with him, and so she does.
These people won't give me a negative COVID.
You
They
don't
already
need a
did.
negative COVID test to stay on the
Yes, I
street.
do.
Not to live on the street, no, you don't.
Had she had a COVID test and they just wouldn't give her the results that she needed, or did they never test her?
I don't think they ever tested her.
No, they did not test her. And there was actually some discussion about her being transported to another facility to do the COVID test. During that encounter, she was promised that she would be taken for a COVID test by the officer.
So Foster lies to her to get her to go.
Is that all you want is a COVID test?
Yeah.
All right, I'll take you somewhere for a COVID test. Let's go.
Can't get proof.
Huh?
Yeah?
Proof? Proof for what?
Negative.
You can get it at Good
Sure.
You know what I
Sam.
mean?
Make
Yeah.
your way down there.
Or Sam does
good-
it instantly.
Good Sam does it as soon as you walk in.
We don't do it instantly here.
Yeah.
Am I high?
Yeah. You'll have.
We don't do it instant here.
Yeah.
No, we don't. The only way we do is if you're admitted into the hospital and you're not being admitted. So no, it's not instant.
All right, come
You
on.
need to go to UK or Good Sam. They'll do it
Let's
for
go.
you.
That's all I need.
That's all you need.
You're
Let's
not going to get it here. We've been over this.
They're out.
You need to go.
You're discharged now, so you have to go.
Zip in your pocket so you don't leave your stuff. Lose your stuff. How about that? Come on. Be careful.
I would like to see my blood work.
There you go.
They're right there. They got all your
Everything stays right here.
paperwork.
My cane.
Good. No, don't sit back down. Let's go back out.
I
Oh,
want
my
my
God.
cane.
You don't have a cane.
You didn't
Linda.
bring your cane with you.
I did.
You
No,
did
you
not.
Do we know whether or not she did actually have a cane when she was brought in?
I don't think she had one when she got there.
Linda had her cane taken away at Maine when she hit a nurse with it.
Oh.
Oh, he had a nurse with it.
Yeah.
You about hit me and
Last time
Kate
we were
tonight.
there,
You went to jail that night too.
You're
yeah,
lying.
I mean you can't try to hit me and Kate tonight. So we,
Just touch.
You sure did.
me and Kate could send you to jail if we wanted to because you tried to hit us. So I would
With
leave
what?
while you're with your hand. So I would leave while you're ahead. Because we could press charges on you and that's felony. So you
Like,
take your
press
choice.
charges on you all too.
I get a lot of work done in the winter months. There's just really not a whole lot for me to do other than sit here in my work cave and work. And I've learned the hard way that it's very, very easy to get burned out and unhealthy in the wintertime. A friend of mine told me that he drinks this daily health drink called AG1. He drinks it every morning, that it changed his life. I hadn't heard of it. I got some. I've tried it for myself, and now I'm drinking it every morning. And now they're even sponsoring this video, and I want to share it with you. I made it a part of my morning routine. When I leave the house to take my daughter to school, I just grab a cold bottled water from the fridge. I pour a packet of AG1 in it. I shake it up, and I just take it with me and drink it on the drive to school. It's just how I like to begin my day now. Once I have it, I feel so much more focused. My gut health finally feels normal, like my body is getting the nutritional support that it needs, keeping me moving and at my best even in the wintertime. Read the ingredients ingredients for yourself. It's all good stuff packed into one drink that's easy to do every morning, and it actually tastes really good. So here's the deal. Through my link, get an AG1 flavor sampler and a bottle of vitamin D3 plus K2 free in your welcome kit with your first AG1 subscription, a $72 value. Now let's get back to this video.
Where's my cane at?
Let's
You don't
go.
have it.
Just
He's gonna lead the way.
Come on.
Follow him.
I had a cane.
We'll get you a cane some other time, okay? You're good.
I had a cane.
But as they neared the ER's main doors, Miss Trapp stated, "I can't walk down hills, I can't."
I can't walk down hills. I can't.
And rather than engage and communicate with Miss Trapp about why she couldn't walk down hills or what sort of help she was requesting, Officer Foster just said, "Let's go."
Let's go.
Miss Trapp then expressed concern that she was going to be stuck outside that night in the cold. Foster then told her, "It ain't that cold tonight. You'll be all right."
We'll be stuck outside.
It ain't that cold tonight. You'll be all right. I'm not taking you to jail, so you need to go.
In reality, according to weather data, at 10:54 p.m. on March 3rd, 2022, the temperature in Lexington, Kentucky was actually 38 degrees.
I have to go outside
Yes, you have to go outside.
and stay outside.
Yes. Where do you live at? You homeless? I never met you before. I'm not
Africa
new to this side of
Center.
town.
So realizing that she'd been deceived and that she was headed outside into the cold without a COVID test enabling her to get housing that night, she said to Officer Foster, "You just lied to me."
You just lied to me.
I didn't lie to you.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I
you
said I'm
did.
not taking you to jail. All right, I'll take you somewhere for a COVID test. Let's go.
And then she turned clockwise towards the interior of the building. And at that point, Officer Foster grabs her left wrist and her upper arm, and he sort of yanks her towards the doors. Whereupon she fell to the floor, clearly not wanting to go out into the cold when she did not have any place to go, and where the hospital was apparently 7 miles away. While Miss Trapp was on the floor, Officer Foster said, "I do not want to hurt you. Do you want to ride somewhere? I'll try to get you a ride." Eventually, Miss Trapp said, "I'll go on my own."
I'll go on my own.
You want to go? All right, let's go.
Yeah, I'll go.
All right, we're not
Yeah.
touching you. Go. If I touch you again, you're going to cuff. And you're going to get hurt because I'm going to put you on the ground.
Linda.
So once again, rather than de-escalate the situation or help Miss Trapp in any way, Officer Miles Foster again explicitly threatens violent physical force, now threatening to hurt her and put her on the ground. So at approximately 7 o'clock p.m., Linda Trapp walks out of the hospital emergency department doors and she turns towards the right, walking on the paved road surface. As she walks away, Officer Foster mockingly says, "Bye-bye."
Bye-bye.
About 15 seconds later, Linda turns back towards the ER and she says, "Can I have a cane, please?" Once again, rather than help her in any way, Officer Foster instead taunts her, saying, "Go find a tree branch or something."
Get on my cane, please.
There ain't have
You
one.
don't have
Go.
a cane, Linda.
Go
I
get.
brought a cane.
Go find a tree branch or something.
A nurse also shouts, "Go get you a tree branch."
Go put you a tree branch.
Officer Foster then continues to taunt her, saying, "There's some good trees over there downtown."
There's some good trees over there downtown.
Another nurse can be seen visibly smiling and laughing in response to this taunting. All of this served to escalate and aggravate the situation. Miss Trapp once again asks for her cane, to which Foster responds that she didn't have one. Miss Trapp once again called Officer Foster a liar.
I brought a cane here.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Go.
You're a liar.
It was at that moment that Officer Miles Foster began quickly walking towards Miss Trapp. Miss Trapp again called him a liar.
You're a liar.
320, 4C.
At that point, Officer Foster calls out on his handheld radio, designating his unit number 324C. Miss Trapp yells out, "No, oh no, you're not going to hurt me."
No, you're not gonna hurt me.
Officer Foster then calls out on his handheld radio, "Go ahead and start me at 1016, or perhaps 1060, which was most likely a request for an arrest transport.
Go ahead and start at 1060.
As Officer Foster is closing the distance towards Linda Trapp, she takes around 8 or 9 steps, slowly backing away down the hospital driveway and away from the building and away from Officer Miles Foster. Just objectively, what is she under arrest for at that point?
Assuming trespass third, but she's outside attempting to leave. She's walking away.
But when Foster reaches her, he grabs her left wrist and upper arm into what's called an escort position. He then forcefully used an armbar takedown, violently jerking her down towards the pavement while simultaneously using his leg to trip her. This prevented her ability to control what area of her body impacted the pavement.
1060.
What? No! What? No!
So she hits the pavement extremely hard, and she immediately begins to cry out that he had broken her knee.
What the f*** did you just do? Because I said I wanted my cat and you broke my knee. You broke my kneecap.
Officer Foster responds by saying, "You should have listened. I gave you plenty of warnings."
You broke my kneecap. Oh, God.
However, at no time did Officer Foster verbalize any intent at all to arrest Miss Trapp prior to grabbing her and using violent physical force to slam her down on the pavement. Officers Foster and Hilo handcuffed Miss Trapp while she was still in a prone position on the ground. Officer Foster stated to Miss Trapp, "I don't mess around, Linda, or whatever your name is. Next time you see me, you better not act like this."
I don't mess around, Linda, or whatever your name is. Next time you see me, you better not act like this.
Miles Foster would later admit in his deposition under oath that he was bragging to Miss Trapp that he doesn't mess around.
Sit up. I don't mess around, you understand? Shouldn't have resisted.
I didn't resist.
Yeah, you did.
I was walking
When you pull away from an officer, when they say you're under arrest, it's
I
resisting.
was walking away.
So now you're getting charged with
I
resisting
was.
arrest.
He had threatened to hurt her. He had threatened to take her to the ground. And so he did take her to the ground, which did hurt her. I mean, he kind of did exactly what he had threatened to do.
The defense, not just him, but the defense was she had intentionally dropped her body weight, which obviously wasn't true.
She was charged with resisting arrest. And under Kentucky Revised Statute, you have to show a substantial risk of physical force or using or threatening to use force or violence against a law enforcement officer or another. And that did not occur.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of, I think, Florida's law. Is like anything fits under their resisting law.
I was walking away.
No, you weren't.
Yes,
We told you to walk away. You refused to walk away.
I did. I did. You lied. Shattered my kneecap and broke my jaw.
No, you just
Most
gotta.
definitely did just do that.
If you broke your jaw, you wouldn't be able to talk out of it. Your jaw's not broken. You just have a scratch on your face.
And my knee.
That'll have to be checked out later.
I didn't do
Just start clean them up real clean.
Well, say I don't know if we start ECU
I
if we're
walked
right
out.
next to the ER.
I walked out.
You go ask.
At this point, Linda Trapp's leg was actually broken during the armbar takedown, fracturing just below the kneecap. Miss Trapp did complain about it. She did beg for treatment, but she would get none from any of the individuals currently present at the scene. Not the officers and not the medical staff.
Yeah, bring her back into the bay doors here.
Okay.
Yeah, they broke my kneecap.
Go
ahead, stand up.
Let me help you.
My right kneecap's
Flash
already
open, I would
screwed
help you
up.
so we can get
No,
her
I
up.
can't.
I don't want you to.
They pulled her up off the ground. They ordered her to walk back into the ER. She said that she couldn't walk. They told her, "You can walk."
Come on, let's go.
I can't.
Yeah, you can walk. Come
No,
on.
I cannot. No, I cannot.
Come on.
No, I can't. No! Help!
Then stand up.
No, I cannot.
Linda, you just walked.
You just walk.
Come on.
They just my kneecap.
I did not break your knee.
Yeah, they did.
Come on.
No, we did not.
Okay, we're
No,
gonna need to
they
stand up. They're
didn't.
bringing a wheelchair out for you.
Hell, they didn't.
Stand up. Come
Hell,
on.
they did not.
Come on.
Yes,
there you
they
go.
did.
Stand up there and sit on that.
Stand up.
Hell, they didn't.
Come on.
I didn't do it.
You are on
I was out.
Eventually, a wheelchair was brought out to the driveway area, and she was placed in the wheelchair, and she was taken inside the outer doors back inside the emergency department. One of the nurses was using a syringe on the left side cheek of Miss Trapp, which had blood all over it. Linda stated, "It's not just my face, it's my left knee." The nurse responded by saying, "Your knee's fine."
I mean, don't be.
It's not just my face, it's my freaking left knee.
Your knee's fine.
No, it's not.
Oh,
really?
No, it's not fine. It's most definitely not fine.
Once again, the nurse said, "Your knee's fine." This time, Miss Trapp responded, "No, it's not. Have you checked?"
Your knee's fine.
No, it's not.
Yeah, let's.
Can you check?
Yeah, well, if you just want to work your way around here.
I can't walk.
Yeah, you can. You stood up as soon as.
Ow,
yeah,
boy!
Oh, Lord Jesus, shut up.
At this point, Dr. Timothy Anderson, the attending ER physician, approached Miss Trapp, who was still sitting in the wheelchair, complaining that she couldn't walk. Dr. Anderson uses a light to shine on Miss Trapp's face for several seconds. Miss Trapp said, "X-ray it. X-ray my knee. X-ray my left knee." But Dr. Anderson's response to this woman sitting there in his hospital ER with a broken left leg was, "You can do that with your doctor in the office, okay?"
X-ray it. X-ray my knee. X-ray my left knee.
I'm okay.
X-ray my left knee.
All right.
Admit her. I appreciate it. Yeah, if not, she'll get some.
Or don't.
You can do that with your doctor in the office, okay?
I can't
I'm gonna
walk.
clear that from neighbor.
Miss Trapp told Dr. Anderson that she couldn't walk. They wheel her back inside. Why are they bringing her back inside after they worked so hard to get her to leave?
So they can clear her for jail.
So she did have some visible injuries, I believe blood on her face.
She had a contusion to her face where her face hit the asphalt. When they bring her back in, she's a patient again after having been discharged. So he approaches her and he's looking in her eye and she's telling him specifically, "I need an x-ray. My leg's broken. My leg's broken." And that's when he says, "You can get an x-ray when you see your regular doctor."
They slammed her on the ground. She has a fresh broken leg. And there can be no dispute really that they broke her leg. It's like you wake up and it snowed and you have footprints in the yard. Nobody saw it. You can't necessarily obtain direct evidence about it, but everyone knows that's what happened. Officer Foster retrieved his police cruiser, parking it under the awning of the main entrance to the ER.
She would not leave, and then she was trying to fight me.
And he also bragged that she was man-dropped.
She was man-dropped.
Now, what does man-dropped mean?
I asked him about that during his deposition.
He conveniently didn't know what that word meant.
Right. At that time, he didn't understand what that meant. Didn't know why he said that.
However, according to the Urban Dictionary, it means, quote, "the act of dunking your testicles and or scrotum on a significant other." Sergeant Baker then arrives, and Officer Foster then tells his sergeant, his supervisor, what had happened.
She wouldn't leave here. We finally got her walking out, and she was like, "F you, I'm not leaving." And I was like, "Okay."
Foster told his sergeant that Miss Trapp was flailing her arms.
And I went to arrest her, and she started, flailing her arms and kicking and stuff. So.
However, the body cam footage does not indicate that her arms were flailing. He also told the sergeant that she was kicking and stuff, which is also not corroborated by the video footage. Foster also lied to his sergeant about Linda Trapp saying, "F you, I'm not leaving."
She wouldn't leave here. We finally got her walking out, and she was like, "F you, I'm not leaving." And I was like, "Okay."
At no time during the body cam footage does Miss Trapp ever say that outside the hospital.
There's some good trees over there downtown.
No, you're not gonna hurt me.
Additionally, during his deposition, once under oath, Officer Foster admitted that Miss Trapp was not kicking, hitting, or fighting. Foster also told the sergeant that she's got a little scrape, and she's saying that her knee hurts.
Put her to the ground. She's got a little scrape. She's saying her knee hurts. I just want to check.
Is that her right there?
Yeah, they put a Band-Aid on it.
This was a minimization of the verbalized and actual injuries that Miss Trapp received as a result of the armbar takedown by Officer Foster. In reality, Miss Trapp verbalized a broken knee, a broken kneecap, and she pleaded for an x-ray of her left knee. Officer Foster, who applied the force that caused the injuries, was well aware that Miss Trapp's knee impacted the pavement during the takedown and that she immediately afterwards claimed that her knee was broken and that she couldn't walk.
Because I said I wanted my cane, you broke my knee. You broke my kneecap. You broke my kneecap. Oh, God. Yeah, they broke my kneecap.
The actual severity of these facts should have been communicated by Foster to his sergeant. Instead, Officer Foster minimized what happened, as well as the resulting injury, through his choice of words.
Put her on the ground. She's got a little scrape. She's saying her knee hurts. I just want to check it out.
Is that her right there?
Yeah, they put a Band-Aid on it.
As the arresting officer, Officer Foster was the one who was responsible for ensuring medical treatment and relaying accurate information to the investigating supervisor. But he wasn't the only one to give inaccurate information to Sergeant Baker. Listen to what the hospital security guard said to Sergeant Baker about what he allegedly witnessed, almost all of which is easily disproven just by watching the body cam footage.
Made it maybe about to where the tree is there, turned around, refused no further to go anywhere, and then she tried kicking one of them, and then it proceeded from there.
Okay, gotcha. Did you actually see the whole arrest?
I witnessed about 90% of it. Yes.
Okay. And what did that look like?
They were here. She walked down. She started to refuse. Started swearing at them. They went down to her. Tried telling her it was either down that way or they were going with her. She went to go kick them, and then they proceeded to place her to the ground and arrest her.
Okay.
And then she got her Miranda rights twice. Okay. One there and one there. But she was resisting arrest from them when they were down there with her.
Okay, so she continued to be non-compliant.
Yeah, and that was kind of where the injuries kind of came from, is where she started resisting with them, and then when they tried bringing her back, she just dead weighted, so we had to get the wheelchair for her.
And then she was brought back up here
to
get
because we wanted
checked
to
out.
check.
Okay.
And the doctor treated her. She has a separate set of paperwork for checking the face.
Miss Trapp was then transported via wheelchair to the transport van located in the parking lot.
Not the left leg.
I've seen you walking like this for years.
She was being taken in the van not because she was in a wheelchair, but apparently because Officer Foster didn't want her in his police cruiser because he thought that she was dirty and he didn't want to be near her. In order for her to get in the van, she was required to walk up 3 metal steps as well as a 4th step in order to enter the van. Officers attempted to lift Miss Trapp out of the wheelchair to load her in the van. They attempted to force her to stand upright and force her to walk on her broken leg up the steps to the van. So they attempted to force Miss Trapp to stand on her left leg, later determined to be broken due to her injuries, and despite the officers attempting to force her, Miss Trapp could not walk into the ambulance.
Oh, God!
Well, I'm touching
You gonna throw me over?
I'm touching your
Ow,
Sit her back
ow,
down.
ow,
Sit her back
ow, ow, ow.
Wait,
No, you're not doing that to me.
I wasn't touching your left leg. I was touching your right one, the good one.
You're not gonna, no. That hurts like hell right now.
So
They didn't x-ray that, no, did they? Hell no.
They said they did.
No, they did not.
Okay, so
No, not the left leg.
So
No,
we're
they
not
didn't.
medical professionals, okay?
I know.
But they are inside the hospital, okay?
So,
So they've checked you out.
no.
322 being
They've checked you out. Okay.
Yeah, that's what they said before. They still
Okay.
wanted up
Well,
medical.
they've checked you out.
They-
So we're gonna. The long and short of it is you have to go to the jail, okay? And we're willing to help you get up in there, okay?
So that's the voice of Sergeant Baker, and we can't hold him completely blameless here because although he was misled by the choice of words and the omissions from Officer Miles Foster, and although he was misled by the hospital security guard, he knew damn well that the medical staff, that the doctor on duty did not check out her leg. He was there to observe the fact that she was complaining about her left leg and begging the doctor, begging the nurses to x-ray her leg, saying that it was broken. He knew damn well that they did nothing to examine or treat her left leg. In true unaccountable government employee fashion, what Sergeant Baker did do was photograph Linda's leg as she's sitting there at the ER doors in the wheelchair.
Based upon the information that we had in evidence for review, there were still photographs that were taken by the on-scene supervisor that night with Miss Trapp in the wheelchair in the ER. The left leg was actually curved outward in that photo. That's the first thing that stood out to me reviewing the evidence.
It was visibly broken. It was that broken. And yet here they are gaslighting her that her leg isn't really broken. It doesn't really hurt. She can actually walk. She's just lying.
So let's put your weight on that other leg, okay?
I got your arm, and we got you from both sides.
It's gonna hurt like that. I can't.
All right, well, just take it slow. Take it slow.
Now I can't.
You're doing
Something's
it.
wrong with this left leg.
Okay.
They can x-ray it. They can x-ray it. No, there's something very wrong. The right leg is okay. Maybe not. That's just right. Let's go.
Here, let's
No,
put your weight on your
I can't.
right leg and put your right leg forward, okay? I don't know if it would be helpful if somebody kind of got up on the top of the stairs and opened up that.
No, it's screwed
You
up.
gotta have the key to unlock it
It's
from behind the
totally
driver's
screwed
door. Oh, really?
It's totally screwed up.
Oh, let's go. Let's go. We're gonna lift you up. You want us to lift you
How about
up?
unlock it?
It's totally screwed up. I can't bear weight on my left leg. Ow!
Okay. If you need to lean back, you can, but let's try to keep moving forward.
Not no more. It hurts like hell. No, it hurts like hell.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Well, I'm sorry it hurt you. I can't fix that.
And the hospital says that you're cleared to go, okay?
They didn't check my left leg, now did they? No. Did they?
I'm assuming they provided
No,
whatever
they
medical
did not.
attention was necessary, okay? And we've got that
They
clinic's
did not.
paperwork.
I can't do it. I'm not stepping up on my left leg.
We're not touching
We're
your
not-
left. We're going to touch your right leg.
And we're not gonna let you fall, okay? All right.
I'm not light.
All right. No, you're not. You feel pretty light to me.
I'm not.
Officer Hilo, Officer Foster, and Sergeant Baker then started to physically lift Miss Trapp into the van, and they placed her in a seated position. Miss Trapp said, "At least they'll give me some medical attention. I don't get it out here. It hurts like hell." But believe it or not, she would also not get medical attention where she was going either. At what point do they actually discover that this lady has a broken leg?
Many hours later at the Fayette County Detention Center, after she's been booked in at the jail, and they did an x-ray on her. And as soon as they found that, they transferred her to UK, where she immediately had surgery.
After Linda was taken to jail, they still didn't believe that her leg was broken. It would be another 18 hours before they finally x-rayed her and observed the fracture. So 18 hours later, from jail, they rush her to a different hospital, the University of Kentucky, where a different set of doctors and a different set of nurses now perform emergency surgery on Linda's broken left leg. But it wasn't going to be easy. If you've ever had surgery, you know how important and how difficult the recovery time can be, and you know how long that actually can take. So here's the major problem. Linda was homeless. She was in a terrible position just physically to recover from her surgery.
And unfortunately, she had complications, had an infection. The hardware had to come back out. She's had, several surgeries as a result.
All to the tune of around $500,000 in medical expenses. And the worst part about all of this is Linda Trapp has been confined to a wheelchair since the night that she first met Officer Miles Foster. Because of what he did to her, she would never be able to walk again, and she hasn't. Thanks to Officer Miles Foster, and thanks to those nurses, and thanks to Dr. Timothy Anderson, all of whom failed her, and really failed us as well on the night of March 10th of 2022. A lawsuit was filed with the city eventually settling just this January for $1.2 million. I believe that there also was some settlement amount from the hospital defendants, which is confidential because they're not government entities. Was Foster ever disciplined for this incident?
There was internal discipline in this instance, and the initial discipline based on the records that were provided was a 1-day suspension.
So many of the problems that I do videos on are things that, like I said, were completely unnecessary. Like that night, he could have just allowed her to continue on walking away as she was doing, and nothing would have happened. Except she would have had a miserable night trying to walk 7 miles in the cold. But it turned out way worse than that. All he had to do was nothing. Like there was no crime reported. I mean, he could have helped her, but he didn't have to help her, obviously. But he could have just done nothing. In so many of these cases, nothing needs to be done. They could have done nothing. They could have done nothing, but he just had to do something. And it's like it's always about ego. And here, this guy must have had a massive ego. Whatever happened to him?
Well, it's my understanding from Lee Searcy from the Channel 18 that did the story.
A city spokeswoman says he has since retired on occupational disability unrelated to this incident.
He was subsequently placed on medical leave for an injury he received on the job. Reportedly, the city's paying for his lifetime disability for injuries received on the job.
Wow. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on here and, giving us the information directly from you. I'm glad that at least some justice was achieved here. The crazy thing is, for the taxpayers in Lexington, Kentucky, your government agreed to pay $1.2 million to a homeless woman as a result of their provable egregious misconduct. Yet they didn't fire the officer. They didn't even charge the officer or any others involved. That's the problem right there. If I hear anything else, I'll update, and you can follow along by subscribing both here and at the blog at thecivilrightslawyer.com. You can follow me on X at JohnBryanESQ. Remember, our rights don't end where your fear begins. Freedom is scary. Deal with it.